So I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial today on our makeup, but I'm just going to be doing the base of our makeup, so just our foundation. So I always make sure I have just freshly cleansed and toned my face and moisturised. You always want the best base possible for your makeup. So I've got more of an oilier skin, so I make sure I've just put on my moisturiser, but if you had a drier skin, you could make sure you have a glowy, beautiful base and use either elixir oil or super greens, and that just makes you look really dewy and hydrated. So to put on my foundation, I like to use a makeup sponge because I like my makeup to look as natural as possible, make it look more like skin. So just dab that all over the face. If you want a thicker, heavier foundation look, then you would always go for a brush. You get more of a look there. So as I said, I've got more of an oilier skin, so I'm not going to put any of the facial serums on my face, but I would never use a dry sponge either. So using Tropic's Vitamin Toner, I'm going to spray that all over my sponge just to give my skin extra hydration. Because it's wet, it just feels like it goes on nicer as well. I'm going to be taking Tropic's Beauty Booster. Now this shade, let me just double check, I'm sure this is Barely Nude shade, and this has got factor 35 in here. It's got lovely healing properties in here. So if you've got any redness on your skin, any acne, any scars, this has lovely healing properties in it as well. Also good protection for, as I said, 35, so that'd be good protection for UVA and UVB rays, but it's also got filter in there for kind of the, what am I talking about, your phone screens, your computer screens. It's got help there. So taking a little bit off my foundation. Now when I'm putting on my foundation, I always like to start inwards out, because if you've got any excess, it's easy just to wipe off the corners. You don't want to work it into your face and then realise you've got loads of excess there. So just using little rounded movements there, kind of press it in. And of course, because the sponge is just slightly wet with my toner, it feels really fresh as well. Just working all over. I'm a bit of a nightmare when I put on my foundation. I don't kind of stick to one area, so I don't just do my face. I do all the areas at once. So like face, a bit of a cheek, a bit of a chin, a bit of a cheek. And the good thing about the brush is because it's got that little corner, you can get right into the corners of your nose. I make sure dab it lightly under the eyes. Under the eyes can sometimes look like an area, if your skin's dry, you'll notice later on during the day it might look a bit cakey and creased. So that's why it's always good to have extra hydration with your facial serums or your vitamin toner. And I also don't like to just do the face. I like to bring it down my neck too. Just heading down here. There. And the good thing about this as well, even though, see how that looks lovely and light and looks more like just natural beautiful skin, if you want to build that up, you can put more foundation on top. You can go use a brush to make it a bit heavier. If you're used to using kind of double wear foundation, this will never be as strong as this. This is more of a medium. But if you are using really good skincare, the whole point is you shouldn't need to have a heavier foundation. But you can build this up and make it look a bit more heavier. So I'm happy with that. Just dab it all on my face. That's my foundation there. And then after that, I would go on to use my, this is Tropic's Luma. So this comes in a few different shades as well. And this is your highlighter. But this is a really lovely area just for all those dark circles under the eyes. A few dots there. Now you can go in with this and you can either use your finger or again you can use the sponge just to dab this in. If you are using your finger, I always use my ring finger when dabbing this in. And the reason is because you just want slight, gentle little dabs. And because your index finger is a lot stronger, you'll get more heavier dabs. So, and try and work it down and up. So you're going down, covering those dark circles and down onto your orbital bone. See, I can see a difference in that already. And this just highlights that area, so it has light diffusers in here as well. So when it hits the light, it's just mixing in and making it look a lot lighter. And this is for any hair areas that you're highlighting. So another really nice area to highlight is down in here. Sometimes you can get dark circles in here, so either side you can pop a bit of highlighter on. I also like to put a bit of highlighter down my nose, just to, my nose is one of those areas I don't like. I feel like I've got a big nose, so I like to just make it look smaller by putting a bit of highlighter in. You can put on the eyebrow, here on your Cupid's bow, just to make your lips stand out a bit more. So that's me put on my Lumiere highlighter there. That's just covering those dark circles, making that area pop. Now I'm going to go in, and a couple of areas got a wee bit spots. I'm going to take my beauty book, and this has got all my concealer shades in here. So these are all my concealer shades. That's my highlighter and my contour bronzer. So you can use a small brush for this. So what's that? My flat detailing brush. That's not small enough. What would I use? Aha. Oh no, that's my eye brush. So it would be the, here we go, detailing brush. So we need the small side of this. Pick our shade of concealer. Now, I've just remembered I had my concealer at work yesterday, so hold on when I grab that. Here we go, it was in my little beauty palette. So this is my concealer I would use here. So you can either use your finger or use your little brush, and the way I go about this is pop the concealer on the spot, the area you would like to cover. I've got a bit too much, so I'm going to spread it over my couple of spots, and then you have to work at blending all around the spot. So you're working inwards out, so all the colour blends in together. See how well that's hidden now? Amazing. It's a really good concealer, and this lasts all day. I've wore this the past couple of days to work. My makeup has lasted all day with no touch-ups. Working those, just pulling the concealer around the area there. Any other areas of redness you want to target? I've got a wee birthmark there, so I like to try and cover that up a wee bit. Looks a wee bit like a bruise, so just cover that up. There, and my skin just looks radiant. It doesn't look cakey, doesn't look covered in makeup, it just looks a lot more radiant and more like skin. But as I said, if that's not the look you want to go for, you can put more of your foundation on with your sponge or your brush or with your fingers, whatever you prefer. The heat of your fingers is usually quite good for just helping it melt into your skin. So to finish that off, to kind of set it and make it look a bit more matte, I am going to be taking my new powder. Again, this is in Barely Nude. Now, I have not got my new Kabuki brush yet. That's your foundation brush. So I'm going to be taking my old Tropic Kabuki brush and tap some of this out. Here we go. And you just need a little amount, so wipe it in there. Circular motions, inward out, and this just helps make my skin a bit more matte. And this really helps cover up those spot areas. This, again, has got light diffusing particles in it, so it kind of ends up matching with your skin colour as well. and it's got SPF in here. Can't believe how well that spot's covered up just with a wee bit of the concealer, and it doesn't look caked. You don't notice the area. It looks lovely. And then if you want the gold star, now I don't have my new bit of makeup, but I have got my old one, but you'll be getting this new makeup about. This is Soft Focus Perfecting Powder. So this is kind of like you're setting your foundation on your face, or setting your makeup on your face, but it also blurs out all your pores, fine lines. Can you see any pores there? And this helps blur them out, set your makeup. Remember when I was a teenager, we used to use hairspray to set our makeup. Now we've got something that's a lot healthier for our skin, won't clog our pores. That's there. So that's just my foundation. I am going to go and do another tutorial afterwards of blusher, eyeshadow, a bit of highlighter, but that is my natural foundation look, and I think that blends quite well with my skin tone. So that's naturally, what did I say, was it Barely Nude? Barely Nude powder and liquid foundation there.